So again, going back to the previous teaching, it's not it's not a passive thing, this trusting. It's not like, well, I guess God will provide for me, It's an active thing. It's actively, no, I choose to trust you. I choose to leave all of this stuff. I choose not to worry about it. I choose not to speak evil about it. I choose to think about it because I believe that is true. And it's so easy to be in thankfulness, and it's so easy to confess the right thing. In faith circles, you sometimes hear about confession and power of confession. By his stripes I was healed, and somehow this makes you healed. But how it actually is that when you believe that you are healed, because he promised that you are healed, and the package is coming,
Amen.
Then you can say, thank God I'm healed.
Amen.
And you're confessing what you're already believing.
Amen.
And so you start prophesying it to yourself, kind of.
Amen. Amen. It reminds me about this Ezekiel when God spoke, can these dead bones live? And that was like, I don't know. Your God? Well, prophesy to the bones. So, okay, let's prophesy.
Can I draw that, because that sounds funny?
Yeah.
While you're explaining, because that's
it's like, I will just put it there. So it's like it's just like God was asking to Ezekiel that, can these dead bones live? And Ezekiel was, well, I don't know. You are God, so prophesy to the bones. Okay, let's prophesy. And then the bones gathered to the bones, and they were clanging together, and they were like, oh, okay, this is interesting. And the flesh came to the bones, and it's like, what? Okay, this is interesting. But they were not living yet. They were just coming together. The flesh came together, but they were not living yet. And then God said, prophesy to the spirit that it will enter and make them living. And that was like ultimate example of how you can prophesy things to come when God says something. That he is powerful and mighty to put things alive when you speak what God says you should speak. It's like Ezekiel didn't doubt that God is able to do it. He just said that, well, I cannot, you can. I cannot, but you can. And it's like, well, let's do it, Ezekiel. Prophesy. Let's see how it happens. It's like, whoa, okay, God can make these things alive. But it's like same thing with this healing thing, same thing with this providing thing, and that prophesy, speak forth that what God says already. You will be healed through his stripes. I will provide you. You are more worthy than these birds and this field, grass on the field. You are more worthy than that. Say that. Decree that. And God will provide. God will heal. But we shouldn't doubt that when God says something, that he is capable of doing that, even though we don't understand how. But God is able to do that. So that's like that Ezekiel is actually one good example about the power of the prophecy and power of the word when we decree a thing. But that's like what came to my mind about that.
Yeah, that's an excellent example. And I think like what happened there, like the miracle happened when Ezekiel chose to trust God over what he saw, because all he saw was dead bones before.
Yeah.
But when God spoke to him, he had a choice of, okay, is God speaking the truth, or are my eyes speaking the truth?
Yes.
So he chose that God is speaking the truth, and what he started seeing, and not physically but in his mind, was these bones coming to life.
Amen.
He didn't know how it would happen, but he knew that God does what he says, because that's the relationship he had with God.
Amen.
So from that point, he spoke what was in his heart, that I see these bones coming to life, come to life,
Amen.
like fulfill what is already true. I command you to obey what is already true.
Amen.
So the bones would just obey what is already true, and they would manifest what is already true. And that's why it says in the Bible also that by the heart man believes, and by mouth confession is made.
Amen.
So it's a thing that is born in your heart, this belief, choosing that God does what he says. And out of that comes speech. And out of speech comes manifestation.
Amen.
Like how God spoke the earth, the heavens, the sun and the moon, the day and night, light, and so on into existence. It was the same process of heart spoken manifestation.
And also it comes to my mind about this, was it in this Isaiah, it says about this, that who can believe is none is sent. Who can believe is none is sent to preach. If none is sent to preach, who can believe? So it's like,
what?
if somebody is if nobody is sent to preach, who can believe? So it's like it's saying that we have to preach to make people believe. So it comes by hearing the word of the Lord, and then you can believe. So it has to decree. There has to become preaching, so we are able to hear and understand and believe what God says. So it's same thing when the mouth confession, the belief comes through that. So we have to speak it out. We have to decree it. We have to speak about it. So it's maybe that's why it says also in I don't know what's Moses' book it was, but God commanded the Israelites that you should have this this word in your mouth when you wake up, when you walk on the road, when you lie down, when you wake up in the morning. You speak it out, these Bible verses, that you remember these promises, what God has said. So it's built up faith when we decree a thing. So we have to, like, maybe also it reminds me about this, why when I pray for people, I decree things in people's lives what I see and hear. That's why I'm building faith in their life that God is doing things. And it's same thing when we prophesy. We decree things in people's lives so they're able to believe what God is doing, about to do, or will be doing in their lives. So we have to speak it out, what we hear in the spirit. So but that's what comes to my mind about this, what you said.
Yeah, because by speaking, you give that other person that opportunity to either believe or disbelieve, like Ezekiel wouldn't have prophesied if God didn't speak to him.
Yeah, of course
That
not.
was a bit far-fetched,
Yeah.
But also I believe personally that in the word of mouth, when it comes from that point of faith, there is great power in that. There is that creative power that God himself used in the creation, and that the creation will answer or obey that commandment.